And it looks like we're live. So, hey, what's going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and who's joining me today?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Devin, also known as Paranoid Coder, on Twitter, I guess. That's about it.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
and thank you for being here, Paranoid Coder or Devin. We appreciate you being here.
yeah, no, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited, guys. Thanks for and keeping me on.
Oh, hey, no problem. And so the other thing as well too is some people might be wondering what's up because I'm saying we, and Daniel's also not introducing himself. So Daniel was going to be here, but he ended up texting me about 20 or 25 minutes before the show started and said that he's not feeling well. So I mean, we wish him best condolences and all that. But he said, hey, he was aware Devin was coming on anyways. I actually asked if he could be a guest on because ideally, so there was one time before Devin ended up subbing in for him as a co-host. I think he did a good job. But I was like, hey, it'd be awesome if we have both people on. But I don't know. I don't think it's destined to be, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a shame. I was excited to finally meet him here live on the podcast, but I wish him the best of luck too, man. Hope he feels better.
Yeah, absolutely. So he has the invite as well. So if Dano just randomly pops in here at one point, that would be fantastic. But if not, I mean, we know the deal. He's sick with, I don't know, it might be like a diarrhea sickness or something. But that's what I say
Hope
for
not.
everything. So.
Yeah, sure hope not, man.
Yeah, it could be something worse. So. So yeah. Anyways, we can go ahead and get into these topics here and such. And thank you everyone who's coming online here and such. It's great to see people just immediately coming into the chat. That always warms my thick heart that's somewhere here under all the fat. But our first topic here, well, Devin, you want to start off and take this one?
Yeah, so I didn't hear about this until just recently, but basically some guy who makes mods for a game, Nier Automata. I don't know this game. I'm not familiar with it.
So
So
I've heard Nier Automata and Nier Automata.
Automata.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I suppose this game has a number of mods, and I think the mod was available through Steam. That's correct.
Yes.
Right. So it was publicly available through Steam, and he essentially put a bit of code in his mod that would blacklist their account or something if they had actually cracked the game. Um, so if they had basically not paid for the game, cracked it, got it installed, they would have their account banned from this plugin or this mod. Is that correct?
So it wasn't necessarily that. Now, from what I'm understanding on here, I just found this funny because it was anti-piracy on a mod here. But he wanted to. Oh my God, we got Daniel!
Hey, is
Wait,
he
Daniel.
muted?
Wait. Say something. Hold on. He's muted. He's muted.
Can
He's muted.
you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you.
Is it shitty or do I need to? It might be coming out of. Yeah.
No, it's great. So sorry, we got to interrupt the story here, but hey, so Daniel, this is Devin, and Devin, this is Daniel.
What's going on, man?
Hey, nice to meet you, man. How's it going?
Nice to meet you too. Pretty good. I mean, I was feeling like shit a little bit ago, but I took some headache pills and I drank some energy drinks. So I'm like, I got to do this. It's once a month. I got to at least. I'm not dying, so I'm like, I got to throw myself together and do this podcast.
Was it a diarrhea illness? Because I told them the entire stream it was that.
Wait, are we on stream right now?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, I thought. Okay.
You joined in at 7:07, sir.
It's 5:08 here, friend. But no, it wasn't. No, I didn't shit any. No, my ass is fine.
Oh.
No, it was my head. It was my head. Yeah.
Okay, everyone, you've heard it here. If you're in the stream and catch this first, his ass is fine.
Thanks for letting everyone think that I was Hershey squirting instead of streaming. But
Hey, I didn't. I said it was unconfirmed. So
yeah, okay. I bet you found a picture on the internet of like someone that was shitting their brains out. Like, this is probably Dope's funny right now.
That's not a bad idea to do.
But no, I'm very much so here and alive. So yeah, did you guys start stories? Were you guys kind of just segueing into things? Or?
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of catch you up on this, but we were going over our first topic here, which was the anti-piracy that was put on Nier Automata. I believe that's how I'm going to say it there. But I was kind of talking with Devin here and saying that The issue was this guy, he ended up making his mod so that it would not work on pirated versions, which is just kind of silly to put anti-piracy on a mod. But he's been known for doing things like this as well too. So Devin, kind of the blacklist thing you were talking about, there's actually I'm quoting it here verbatim, but I believe one of the moderators on the subreddit this is posted to had said, "This is nothing new. This modder is infamous for his other tricks in his mods. He basically has a blacklist he keeps in his mods. If he gets in a fight with a person because that said person disagrees with him about something, he will put that person's Steam ID into his blacklist that's inside his code in the mod. If the said person tries to use his mod, the game will simply refuse to run and will crash on startup. He even admits this, so Google it. Long story short, don't trust this asshole. Straight up de nouveau shill and a butthurt idiot who can't accept opinion that's different than his. Don't download his mods even if you are a legit user."
Well, I read up on the guy a little bit, and he actually does seem like he's kind of an asshole. He, like, the other article you posted said that he got banned, and he was banned for, like, just being a dick, really. Is what the what I saw from the moderators in the second article you posted.
Yes.
So I mean, he is kind of a dick. So I don't know, like, it's a little interesting that because I get it. Again, when we talked about modding, I don't really like piracy because I think that in the long run it fucks everything. And again, if everyone justified piracy, there'd be no progress in the gaming industry or future video games because no one would be getting paid. But at the same time, I don't know that that's the way to go about it. I mean, if people already downloaded their illegal games, they're not going to really care that much about your little mod, like, to go legit and buy it. Like, to me, it'd be more an exploit maybe that had some checks in place to prevent piracy, which again, at the same time, has been proven pretty difficult because once someone's found an exploit, there's always someone who is like pro piracy or doesn't give a shit that kind of opens up that exploit and makes it where you could run ISOs and ROMs and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see though. But yeah, I definitely think that this guy doesn't really have the necessarily like best intentions. It kind of more seems like he just likes to be a control freak more than anything.
Yeah, this was a really interesting kind of controversial thing for me to read about. On one hand, this guy's developing this in his own free time. And actually, I'm not really sure. Was this mod paid for at all, or is this all free?
No, since it's a modification of the game, it's free. It's all free.
That's what I figured. That's what I thought. So this is a free mod. I would think technically, to an extent, the developer can do whatever they want. It just really doesn't help that he is such a jerk about it. When you publicly go on and have such bad PR and publicly kind of shaming people, it's really not a good look on you. But I also kind of agree with what some of Daniel said. It's like, look, it's not really, shouldn't really be too much of your concern. I don't know. I go back and forth on this one.
Well, I feel like he, like you said too, though, I mean, as the creator, he can do whatever the hell he wants. It's his thing, like it wasn't like it was something that was crowdfunded and like that. If it's something he did in his own spare time, it's his work. Like, he has every right to do what he wants with it. But again, at the same time, I just don't really know, again, what his intentions are, if he really cares about the game and the developers, or again, if he's just kind of like an asshole in a sense, and he's just doing it because he likes to be in control of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't know what his intentions are really, because if his intentions are truly pure, like he just doesn't really like pirates, wants people to all do legit things, and if you want to enjoy the game, you have to buy the game legitly, then I don't really see anything wrong with that. But again, if he's hated by so many people, he's obviously like, there's something with this guy, I think, more so than people just being mad that he doesn't allow pirates to play his mods. There's got to be something more to it.
I mean, it's definitely even there as well too, because I mean, yeah, I think it's a bit silly, the whole kind of anti-piracy thing on there. But really, when you're saying the control freak thing, it's I don't think there's absolutely any reason that he should be, just because he disagrees with someone, he's going to completely block them from using his modification.
Yeah, that's like a toddler throwing a temper tantrum.
Exactly.
Dude. Exactly. That's some childish shit. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, at that point, I even question, would that actually be even allowed on like Steamworks or anything? Because then at that point, you have like Steam on their service, they would have a modification that is specifically targeting certain users maliciously. And these users are specific users that this guy is putting in his code in his blacklist. They'll prevent them from running the game.
But is that confirmed, or is it more accusations?
It's been confirmed. That was confirmed. Yeah.
Got you. That's funny. I mean, it's funny. That's funny. You can't say that it's not a little bit funny that this guy literally went out of his way to blacklist a user because maybe the guy would didn't like the dude or something like that. But yeah, that's some childish shit. You think someone that's smart enough to create a mod like that would have a little bit of fucking I don't know, just self-control and common sense to not be an idiot? But I don't know.
I did notice some interesting comments on that Reddit thread too. I believe the mod was actually to deal with something at scaling at higher resolutions more properly. Yeah. I guess the game doesn't quite do that well. And so some people in the comments were saying that this was almost an essential mod and that he shouldn't do that to the community because of how essential this mod is. What's your kind of take on that?
Nier, the thing is with that, I haven't played it yet. I would like to at one point, but there's so many other damn games I'm playing right now. But yeah, from what I know, the PC port was not graceful by any means. Many people had major issues with it. Actually, even James in the comments here was saying the mod fixes a lot of the game's performance. Some say it's required just to fix the game. I think, again, it's silly that any mod should be blacklisting people like that. But at the same time, I also don't, well, when it comes to, you're saying the performance and such on there, where you're almost barring people from getting that performance upgrade. I also don't feel too bad about that because that then becomes a issue with the actual publishers and developers. Why the hell can't you patch the game, or why wasn't it released in a proper state? If you have to have a modification like this to actually fix up the game, the game should have these features and fixes and such without you patching it. Or without you using a mod. It should be either there day one or, worst case, patched in eventually.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a independent thing that's created by a user, versus...
Well, it's like Skyrim, for example. A lot of people say, oh, you have to play Skyrim with mods. It's unplayable without mods. It's no, I have the stock version on PC. I can boot up the game. I can play it start to finish just fine with no mods. The mods do make it much better. They can improve on certain things, but the game isn't unplayable, and it's not, completely detrimental. There's nothing detrimental that's going on if I don't have mods on there.
Yeah. This game is actually totally random, but I played it on PS4 for a little bit, and it's pretty fucking tight, man. It's a pretty cool game.
I want to play it, but again, I'm playing too many other damn things right now.
No, I get it. That's the reason why I didn't. Well, my buddy picked it up, but yeah, the reviews are all pretty mixed. I mean, it says mixed, but it's literally all performance issues, crashing. But on PlayStation, I mean, there was no issues, at least not noticeable.
The console versions, from what I see, have been fine. Digital Foundry did a really good job analyzing it, but the console versions have been fine. It's the PC version that they just completely goofed on. Unfortunately, it seems to be a lot of, and I hate to stereotype on there, I really do, but a lot of companies developers and such, that are Japanese-based developers that are mostly working on console, and they're now last generation, this generation, starting to port their games and also release them on PC. They're the games that are having the issues, like the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy, for example. When it came to PC, I know we're going off topic here a little bit, but when it came to PC, the games were 720p. I don't think you could full screen them, and they were locked to 30 frames a second.
It's weird that these companies just aren't doing enough fucking testing, of their ports. It's like they just have one computer and it runs fine. And they got to try out all sorts of different configurations and rigs to make sure that it's functional, across the board. But I mean,
it's all about the amount of cost investment versus profit that they think they'll make off the PC.
Yeah, but it just leaves such a bad taste in their mouth for their next game. People are going to be super hesitant if. This went as bad as it did. Fuck it, the Batman game that came out that was on PC. Boy. and then they took it off the market and then put it back up, I think 6 months later, something like that, and it was still dog shit, dude.
I remember I was talking to someone that came out, and like she bought because the game like flopped on PC completely when it first came out. She bought it for like $20 like the first day it came out, and then she turned the graphics up to ultra, and she's telling me like, oh, I'm trying to play it at ultra settings, and the textures look like shit. Turns out the highest anything high or ultra, it wasn't there. The highest textures that were actually in the game were medium. So that's why when everybody had like super powerful rigs and they dialed everything up to 11 and the game looked like shit, it's because, the highest textures in the game are medium textures.
That's crazy.
But then again, that was also, I think, didn't they have I believe it was something like they had a dozen people working on porting that 5 weeks before release.
Yeah, it was super last minute. They should not have released it. Mm-hmm. I got it on launch, not because I paid for it outright, but with my graphics card that I bought, it was like one of those promos with Best Buy that you get a game, and so it was like between that and one more, and it honestly didn't work that bad. I know this is it, and I'll get back on, but it didn't really work that bad for me. It just every 45 minutes I had to reboot. So I mean, that's not good. That shouldn't happen. But I'm just saying, but that 45-minute window was pretty much flawless, and then all of a sudden game crashes and I have to reboot. But I'm just saying, at least I was able to play it, because I saw some people that were like, dude, I can't even, it won't even play at all. So, but yeah, I'm just back to the point is though that this shouldn't ever need to be a thing that aside, a guy that's just a hobbyist needs to completely patch a game to make it even playable. That should definitely be in the developer's hands, not, one guy that's creating blacklists for people.
Yeah, and I really hope that someone steps up to replace him, because it doesn't look like you're going to be able to get his mod through Steam anymore.
Oh, yeah. Did they take it down from Steam?
I believe it got banned.
He got, at least it was he was temporarily, it says before people go nuts, this guy, I'm not going to say his name because I just don't want to butcher it, is temporarily banned for a reason. If you don't insult people or break other forum rules, you won't be banned. Well, people just didn't like this dude.
I saw his mod's still available, but it's via GitHub. So I don't know how you'd be. I think you'd have to actually have some knowledge in terms of applying code without doing it just from Steam directly. You'd have to use a back route essentially of patching it, but it's still available for those that.
It's on the internet. It's there.
Yeah, exactly. It's out there. So yeah. I thought that was interesting, though. That's the first time I've really seen something quite like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually did get banned from Steam, not just Reddit, right?
Well, this wasn't. I'm not sure if this was on Reddit 100%. There were things that were posted onto Reddit here, but no, it was on the Steam forums at least. He was banned. Yeah. I'm not sure if his actual Steam account was banned.
I think that it was just the forums, from what I saw.
Okay.
But I can't confirm. I'm not really positive, but it's kind of the way people worded things. It just seemed like it was a temporary ban on the forums more so than actually his account. But it's still possible that his shit got taken down if people were actually able to prove that, to Steam that he was blacklisting people. I'm sure that's against some kind of terms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, as I said, it doesn't matter what the excuses are or anything. I really doubt they're going to tolerate a mod that is specifically targeting people for whatever reason, because that's what this is.
Yeah, he's trying to play the god role.
Exactly. Fun.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, next topic.
Yeah, I think so, unless you guys have anything to add, but I feel we took that one and ran with it.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get into the next one for sure.
I feel very at ease with that previous topic. So this one, this is, we had talked about this a little bit before. At least Dan and I had discussed this, and then Devin and I talked about this for the first time recently. But on the PlayStation Vita and PS TV or Vita TV, whatever the hell he wants to call it, if you're on firmware 3.6 or lower, so you update to 3.6, you can install something called HENkaku, which is essentially the best thing we have for a custom firmware that allows you to run Homebrew, access the system files and such, and you can, of course, install Homebrew, but now there's also ways you can install games, DLC, all that fun stuff. You can also spoof onto PSN. So since you're on lower firmware, you can actually spoof on there, and it has a ton of extra support. I think Adrenaline, Adrenaline is the way you can access the PSP emulator on there. There's cheating options and such, at least on the PSP side. There's a ton that you can do with it. The only caveat to it is normally the process is you go to henkaku.xyz on your Vita, you end up saying install right here, and then it downloads, it runs an exploit, downloads all the files, installs a package file for you, and then at that point you're able to access HENkaku. You have a modified Vita. It's essentially it's a tethered mod, so to speak. Because if you put your Vita into sleep mode or rest mode, it will be fine. It will still run. But every time you hard reset your Vita, so if you fully power it down, you turn it back on, you have to go to the HENkaku website. You have to pretty much open up the bubble, hit install, and then it runs the exploit again, and then you're good at that point. Well, now there is something that is going to be coming out. It's slated for release July 29th of this year. So we might be talking about it in another few months. But it is called HENkaku Enso, which in short is HENkaku on boot. So that whole process where I said you have to go online, you have to do that every single time. This is going to be to the point now where if you have this enabled on your Vita, you turn on your Vita off cold boot and it's in HENkaku mode. That's it.
Yeah, it sounds really similar to some of that stuff that we saw with the 3DS not too long ago. When we got ARM9 loader hacks, that was kind of the similar transition of being able to boot into the Homebrew enabled environment, right off the bat. So I don't have a PS Vita myself, but some really exciting news for people who do have one.
Yeah, I don't have. I had a PlayStation TV that I had it installed on at one point, and then I got rid of that, so I don't have it either. I really I know about this from just me and Mr. Mario's talks back and forth, but I don't have hands-on experience with it. But I mean, that sounds really awesome to not have to do that every time, because that sounds pretty damn inconvenient. I mean, I'm sure it's not that big of a deal to have to do that, but I mean, if you don't have to and it's a permanent, essentially, I guess it'd be a custom firmware, right? I mean,
it's the closest thing we have to it. I guess in a way it's just kind of a patch on there. It's a way that I guess the best I could say is it just allows you to access third-party things and such, and allows you to do mostly whatever you want with your device. I don't know if it's a custom firmware per se, because there's nothing that you really flash over.
I suppose it could be something a bit more similar to menu hacks on the 3DS, where the actual one of the themes was exploited. So when it boots and loads the theme, the exploit runs and you boot into your environment. So maybe it's something similar. I don't think we know too much about it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, HENkaku, we know quite a bit about it. I'm just admittedly a little bit ignorant on it, so to speak. But no, we know with Enso, at least, we're going to have cold booting on there, which will be really nice. The only caveat on that, though, is right now they're doing beta testing. So this is kind of something for everyone on here. If you're wanting to beta test this, just listen to me. If you're wanting to beta test this, I mean, it would absolutely help them. There's a form you can fill out. However, from what I understand, there is a bug within. This is why they're wanting beta testers. They're pretty much saying, are you absolutely sure if this thing bricks your device, you're 100% okay with it being bricked? Because there's an issue where just randomly at times, I think it might be either when it boots up Enso or when it's installing it, the devices just brick. And they've bricked several Vitas right now at this point, and they're just like, yeah, we don't have the disposable funds to keep doing this. So that's why maybe if there's somebody out there who has 20 Vitas, if we can have them test them, that'd be great.
Where does it talk about that? Is because on their website it says for more information go here, but their website literally just has the date and that video.
Right.
Is this over on?
No, it's on Wolo's site. So
okay.
There's even there's an article, and I'll have it linked. I'll be sure to link it in the video description if it's on YouTube, which it will be, and I'll actually put it onto. I'll put it in the chat there as well too. But yeah, no, there's a sign up right there, and they talk about it and discuss it there as well too. So gotcha. I think also if it's not fully discussed there, I've also seen Ethan Liu, I believe that's how I say it. He's talked about this on Twitter a decent amount.
Do you have any idea if there's a way that you can flash the internal memory similar to how you could do it with like a NAND mod on a 3DS?
So there definitely is, for sure. I don't know if it's completely public or not. Really don't know. With anything, there should be. Right now, publicly, I know there isn't. But then there were some people, I actually saw a conversation that he was having with another person where they said, hey, I have a way of reflashing. They pretty much said they were able to reflash their system. They had like a hardware mod on it or something. But he was saying that this is specifically MS0 that it ends up bricking. And he said, right now at this point, there's no way to recover that. So this ends up bricking your MS0. This results in a 100% brick. Like, even if you have the hardware to reflash it, at least the current existing hardware, you won't be able to unbrick it.
Yeah, I'm reading the comments right now, and some guy was saying that he has a backup of his NAND, but that they're saying that even hard mods won't save you.
Which, that is terrifying. That's actually pretty terrifying.
The comments are pretty like trolly and funny, which you expect kind of from modding forums and stuff. But a lot of people are just kind of like literally the first comment says, "Just waiting on my confirmation. Thanks for your post." And the next guy says a response, "Just waiting for your brick. Good luck."
Man, yeah, I don't know how many PS Vitas you'd have to flash to feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At what rate are these bricking at? And
I'd want to know more.
They said it's random is the thing too.
That's well, I mean, I just hope that they're at least doing something to make it so that's not the case,
Well, that's why they're having this open beta where they're just like, we are trying to find people who are willing to absolutely risk their Vita being 100% bricked for the sake of making this not a brickable, not a brickable software.
Yeah. Shitty.
That's pretty intense. I really hope they can meet their deadline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think this kind of reminds me of I know Devin, we've talked about this. We go back with the PSP days and stuff, but this definitely reminds me of like when some custom firmwares are coming out where some developers, I remember like there was one, it was like maybe 3.6 or something. Dark Alex was working on a custom firmware and he had said that he had bricked 4 PSPs in the process, trying to not work on the custom firmware, but work on a downgrader.
Oh, I don't remember in particular, but I tell you what, I was definitely a naive kid with most of that. It was nerve-wracking, but I usually took the plunge regardless.
I was super nervous the first few times I did. Then after I got the Pandora battery, I'm like, I would brick my PSP on purpose just for fun. I'm like, I can recover that. It takes 3 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely bricked a couple PSPs and used my warranty at Best Buy to get a couple new ones a few times.
I still have never done a permanent brick on a PSP. I mean, well, permanent isn't something that I can't recover without the use of the Pandora battery. I even offer that for some people too, because it was there's like a few people I knew of, and just like at different times they're like, oh yeah, I tried to install this custom firmware, tried to install this thing, and my PSP just doesn't turn on anymore. I'm like, oh, I know how to fix that. Give me about 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good service for the community that I provided.
That was middle school or high school?
Middle school was definitely the height of it for me. And then high school, like kind of here and there, like occasionally, like maybe once or twice a year, somebody would be like, hey, I heard you're good with PSPs. I'm like, yeah, what do you want?
Like, yeah, I'm the guy.
Start pulling batteries out of your pocket and memory cards. Like, what do you need?
Exactly.
It's fucking trench coat. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. No, I remember there was actually one dude. He was one of my really good friends. And this is in like 9th grade. This dude from Korea, and he was like one of the few people I met who knew about custom firmware and modding and all that other fun stuff. And he had like tested me as well too, because he needed his PSP modded. He's like, no, I had to update my PSP from 1.5 because I want to play this game. He's like, dude, you could use custom firmware. So I remember he just like drilled me with questions for like 5 minutes about like all these different firmware things, just trying to get me to essentially like prove I knew what I was talking about. And when he saw that, he's like, can you do this mod for me? And I'm like, yeah, dude, sure. Just like buy lunch for me or something.
Fair deal.
Yeah. Yep. I remember it was funny too, because we had to, at the time, I remember it was something like his, I don't think, no, I was going to take it home with me. but his mom would always check to see that his PSP was with him before and after school, so he couldn't do that just because she didn't want it to get stolen. So like during lunchtime, he ended up paying me for this, and then we went into the bathroom, and I was in the bathroom stall not unbricking, but installing custom firmware on the system.
That is so sketchy.
Yeah, slightly sketchy. He was a cool dude. And then like a few nights later, I remember he wanted to get on 1.5, and this would be like the last try I have with this. And he calls me like yelling. He's like, "Danny, you broke my system." I was like, "No, I didn't. What'd I do?" He's like, "No, I tried to download 1.5, so I copied all the files to the flash, and now it doesn't work." I'm like, no, that's not how it works. No, you're right that it's broken. I mean, I'll fix it for you, but like, damn, it's not my fault.
Wait, what did he do again?
He tried to update it,
so he was on like firmware, like custom firmware 3 point something, and he wanted to get on firmware 1.5 for whatever reason. So his logic for downgrading was, I'll extract all the 1.5 files, hook up my PSP like through USB so I could access the flash, and copy and paste all the files directly onto the flash.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, which people, that's not how it works. I know like logically it sounds like it should work like that, but that's not how it works.
It's funny when you kind of deal with newbie people or people that don't really understand how things work too much, and because from like a non maybe involved person with modding and stuff, that does kind of make sense.
It does.
I've done shit too, like I don't know, I think it was with the DVD, like with this burning something back in the day or something like that, and it made sense to me. I was like, this has to work, it'll work. And then it just totally didn't work. It's just, I'm like, wrong, the formatting was off or something like that. But yeah, it does make sense, but if only it were that easy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what started my inkling for modding too, because I remember like when I was really young, at one point I wanted to see if I could, because I knew, audio CDs, you could copy them and it was fine, and I wanted to try it with a PlayStation. So logically, I popped in a game into my uncle's computer, copy and paste all the files to a folder, copied and pasted those onto a CD, burned it, put it in my PS2, and it didn't work. Totally. And I sat there and I was like, but why doesn't it work? Because the files are the same. And then I played a game or something, I don't know. But like that was just like the logic seems to be there. Like I understand the logic, but I'm like, no, there's more that goes into it.
I think it's funny that you actually instinctively tried to do that when you were a kid.
I mean, it seems logical though, Devin. It's like you take the files from here, you put it on here. It should work because it's the same thing. Why doesn't it work?
No, I understand. I totally get you, but I think it's funny. You're like, how old? I'm sure I don't even know, but you're like,
I might have been like 8 or 9.
Copying files. This is I should do this. Copying CDs, but no, exactly. That's funny. No, yeah, I can totally understand. It was a very interesting thing when I started learning about all that. That's definitely what got me interested, much more into the whole scene and everything, and into like development in general, really.
Right. Always a fun time. I never got into the development side of things, unfortunately.
You still can.
I still can, but I just my drive's not there for that.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I've got like I've had always a little bit of interest, but then I'll take like a tiny little course on programming and remind myself why I'm not that interested.
That's what Devin does for a living. So like, Devin, props to you.
What language do you use in your day job?
Mainly Java. Yeah, I'm more of a back-end person, so Java is the main thing that I code in, and it's for the most part my preferred language too.
Okay.
But
I was just saying that I've been like looking around. I totally ran it real quick, but I'm looking around because I'm going back to school for my 4-year, and mechanical. Thank you very much. Mechanical or electrical engineering is what I wanted to do. Just because that's what I kind of have a knack for. But my GPA sucks ass. And so after meeting with Cal States that don't want me, the one Cal State that's actually local, meaning that they give you kind of like a locals GPA, so it's actually attainable for me. They don't offer my program. They only offer computer science engineering, which is definitely more programming than like mechanical or electrical engineering. So there's a chance that if nothing else lines up, then I'll actually be doing some programming for my bachelor's. So we'll see. It might be better if I have an actual structured classroom. I've only done so far, I mean, like, some YouTube videos and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm more of a hands-on guy in terms of like, I feel like I do better with CAD design and things more on the visual front versus the back end. Just I'm too much of a tweaker, I feel, to mess with code. I'm serious. I just don't have the patience. I feel like it's so much input and I see so little output. While with something that's actually like, physical, like a model or something like that, I can see it, I can touch it essentially the whole time I'm working on it. I don't know. That's how for me it's been in terms of my coding experience, at least.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand. And I understand that certain people are just going to be way more interested in it, because when I first started, I started on the PSP, which is probably not something you should do. You probably should start learning how to code on the computer and then do something harder like a PSP or a mobile device. Learn your basics first. But I was just reading stuff on forums, and it took forever to get anything working because I had no idea what I was doing. And I finally accidentally printed a word, and I tried to print it one time and it ended up printing across the entire screen, and it wouldn't stop until the memory was overloaded. But I thought it was the most fantastic thing after like 6 hours. I was just like, I did something.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. So ever since then I've had that knack, and I don't do nearly as much in my free time as I would like to anymore, being my day job, but I love it. I would love to teach people too more about it.
Cool. That's awesome, man. How long have you been doing it for an actual day job or career?
Day job, let's see. I mean, as soon as I turned 21, so almost 3 years. And then I released a couple apps in the Apple App Store. I was about 16 to 17 that made a little bit of money, but it wasn't anything too crazy. So
cool. It gave you a few sodas.
Yeah.
It supplemented my Taco Bell job fairly well.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it worked out.
That was actually a very much so pushing factor with me getting into Xbox modding as heavily as I did. Was I was working at McDonald's, man, and on the side I was modding Xboxes and selling them and repairing them. And so as I saw money coming in from the Xboxes, I was like, man, if I do this more, I could work less at McDonald's and maybe even quit my job. So it's always nice getting some side income coming in from something that you actually enjoy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Multiple revenue streams.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the key.
Well, thanks for sharing. I know Mr. Mario knows a bit more about you, so it was kind of
just a little bit more. I mean, he's in my apartment, but
yeah, he's like, it's my fucking neighbor. But
cheers.
Cheers. Oh man.
So should we get talking about this next topic here?
Absolutely. So nobody's asked us yet, which has been unbelievable. But we actually have some Xbox One things to talk about.
Oh wait, did we skip over one? I think we did.
Oh, we did. Okay. Sorry. No, I went to roll. We're gonna come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, Daniel. I mean, how often is it that people ask about Xbox One stuff?
We have like a recording machine that we forward them to when they ask. It's not available at this time. If you leave a message, we'll get back to you in a year.
I mean, it's become a meme at this point almost. It's the forced meme of ModChat. So no, I was going to show this right here to kind of share my screen. But I believe 8-Bit Bang on Twitter, he had ended up telling me about this because I asked for some recommendations on ModChat. I didn't even know anything about this, but if you go to GBATemp, there's actually a pretty extensive. This guy right here, Wired 24. He has been, as you can see, really heading the Xbox One tutorial section on here. And there is some homebrew that you can run on the Xbox One. Now, before anyone gets super excited or anything, I mean, you could try this at home and all that, but it's not as lavish as you think, as like modifying games, going online, anything like that. We're going to have links for this down in the video description and such too. But in short, there's plenty of guides that are available on here. And really, so Short thing is you have to convert your Xbox One into dev mode, and then you're able to, sideload Homebrew and all that stuff. You can't go onto Xbox Live with it. You can't, be talking with your friends, such as it's a different environment. It's your own sandbox. And the biggest thing is as well, too, your games will not work in dev mode. So every time you want to play a game, like, any game you own, let's say like Halo 5 or something, you have to push your Xbox back into retail mode, because dev games don't work on retail and retail games don't work on dev.
Do you lose it? Do you know if you like it? Does it do a complete reformatting of everything?
From what I see, I don't think it does a complete reformat on it. So it's still fine. You can switch back and forth, but cool. What you can do is you can end up it's $20. So, for our people across the pond, 16 pounds or $20 to activate your console. And it even says right here, if you have a student email, you can do that for free through the Microsoft Imagine program. But if you go through this, you could do this. You could pretty much have up to 3 people doing this, so up to 3 consoles if you want. I'm not going to bore you all with the guide on there, because that's essentially just, paying the money, making the membership, converting your Xbox into a dev station right there. But there's several things right here. Like, for example, there's a decent amount of emulators. So there's a PS1 emulator, there's a PSP emulator, there's a Game Boy Advance emulator. How well these work? It kind of says right here. So, for example, the PS1 emulator it needs further testing. The PSP emulator says easy to install, runs fast, and apparently works well with many games on there. But when it comes to some more development and such, we also have, I believe there's one homebrew game you can load over. And then there's this Project Pegasus that Wire24 has been working on, where it's just a easier way and just a client for Windows where you can easily download and sideload all of these games and such.
Does that work via FTP, or how does that function?
Well, you'd hook it up if it's a regular dev kit. You'd be hooking it up just to your network. So as long as it's on your network, you could transfer everything back and forth.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It doesn't look like it doesn't really have a UI. It's just command line, it looks like. But I mean, exactly. it's still really nice though. Like, I mean, you can't complain, dude. It's this guy, like, again, he did it on his own, and so I mean,
absolutely. It's an easier way of doing that. I mean, look, we already have, one homebrew game on there and such, which is really awesome. Again, like this, even though this is exciting, at the same time, it's pretty cut and dry, because it's like, well, you register your Xbox as a dev system, you convert it over to a dev system, and then at that point, you have the opportunity to load over your homebrew stuff. Like, that's going to be expected of a development console.
Right. So I kind of want to know, like, is there really any exploit going on here? I mean, is there anything?
That's the big thing I want to talk about here. There's no exploits on this. This is just something that, it's really picking up traction, and, there's actual documentation on here for you to play around with. So, I mean, if you have an Xbox One, nothing's really going on with it, you got to spare $20, I'd recommend giving this a shot. I actually want to try this at one point.
Did one member of the community just have like an epiphany? Like,
I think
everybody could just be a developer. If it's only $20, like,
it might be that
use
combined with the
standard SDK or something.
So I think it's a member of the community who just decided, hey, I should write stuff about this, which, again, Weird24 is probably this guy, combined with the fact that I don't think this like $20 option was available at launch. This is still quite new. I think this opened up quite a bit more, especially when UWP was brought over.
Okay, what is UWP?
Universal Windows Program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so do you know much about it?
I've heard about it. I don't know too much, but I've definitely heard about it. I get kind of the general idea.
Yeah, in short, it's essentially you write for one program, and you write for one platform, and it scales. And that means anything that's that means anything UWP compatible, it will scale to. So, for example, if you write an emulator for this doesn't mean it's going to get on there. Of course, we've seen it, because we've seen emulators getting taken off the marketplace or get declined. But if you have here a dog. If you have an emulator that you write under UWP, that'll work in Windows 10. It'll work on, Windows Phone 10. It'll work on the Xbox One. It'll work on any UWP environment, and it will just scale to the specs.
Okay. Interesting. So these were not new emulators made specifically for the Xbox One. They were just
ported?
Maybe ported or even recompiled.
I believe so. I think there might be some things that have been changed on there, but yeah, no, for the most part, this is nothing that is like super crazy Xbox One specific, at least from what I know. People can correct me on that.
Maybe the indie game is at least though.
Yeah. But even so, I mean, just looking at that as well too, I if that's on UWP or if it's on Xbox One, I'm sure there'd be options available for you to play it on other platforms.
Yeah, it looks cool. It says it's a 2D Zelda clone, and that little screenshot or whatever, it looks just like classic Zelda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I'll probably dust off my Xbox One here and give these a shot because I'm not using the damn thing.
It's a nice paperweight.
It is.
Yeah,
it looks pretty.
Yeah, it's fucking big. Do you have the OG or like the S?
Oh no, I got the OG.
OG.
Yeah.
How much do those things run these days? I haven't bought any of this current generation of consoles.
An Xbox One?
Yeah, I guess aside from the Switch. But.
You could. I think an Xbox One, honestly, you can. People are just like even the OG models. I mean, if you're going used, you can get them for like less than $150. Yeah.
If it becomes a really good emulation machine, that would be worth it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, this looks like it'd be just something fun to play around with. And then as for the Xbox One S, I think you can get them for about $250, $300, something like that. They retail for $300, but yeah, that's what I know. And I haven't priced them recently, but I just know when I look on Craigslist, people are just like they can't get rid of them. They're selling for like $125, $150, and they can't get rid of them.
Yeah, if you go on Craigslist, you could find them for like next to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many people trying to get rid of them and not enough people trying to buy them.
Exactly.
Wow. Is the PlayStation that much more dominant right now, or is there another reason?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really
wow.
Yeah, 110%. My buddy that I live with, he's like, dude, I hate my Xbox. He's got his PlayStation 4, and like, I mean, there's literally no fucking exclusives that make it where he wants to, play something on it, because they pretty much all port to PC at one point or another, and so, and most of the JRPG stuff is on PlayStation. So
I think I've heard this several times, and I definitely believe in this. If you are not interested in PC gaming at all, the Xbox One is a good system for those games. But I myself, where I haven't even really been as interested in the Xbox, and no, excuse me, because Xbox really doesn't have exclusives anymore. I haven't really been as interested in the Microsoft exclusives in the past like year or so. So the PS4 exclusives have definitely appealed to me much more. But then even so, if there's something I really want to play on Xbox One or just on a Microsoft platform and it's exclusive there, I have a pretty good PC that I can run it on. So then for me, there's not really much of a motivation. The only really motivating factor is it's like, okay, I feel like just sitting on my couch, being lazy, playing this, and I don't really care all that much about the resolution or the graphical fidelity. And if the frame rate drops a bit, I don't care all that much.
Dude, games are so much cheaper on PC. It is unreal.
I know.
They drop in price instantly, and then on fucking G2A, you can get it for half price in like 2 weeks after launch. It's stupid, man. I don't know. Dude, yeah, maybe the initial investment is more expensive, but and I understand how people, they see the mouse and keyboard, because I always thought PC gaming was for like straight up fucking like nerds and like really geeky people and shit. And then
you were Phil Fish.
And then I found out that I'm a nerd and I'm a geeky person, and that PC is fucking master race. And once you get used to a keyboard and mouse, like it's just like it's so intimate, dude. Like sitting right here on your fucking computer and playing, man. Don't get me wrong, I still like console. It's got a time and a place, but it's just like overall, if someone was like gun to my head and was like, okay, no, not gun to my head, gun to a console and gun to my PC, and I had to pick one, dude, it's not even a question, bro. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, as far as like the consoles go, I have been tempted to, I have a PC and I have a Switch because you can't build a Switch.
Nah,
and
Switch
the
is
only
cool,
other,
man.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
But the only other console I've thought about is the PS4, and that's basically because of the new Kingdom Hearts game.
Yes.
Word. When is it? Wait, it doesn't. Do they officially put a release date on it?
Not
No.
3. But
Okay.
they did do the re-release of
So you can get them all now. Yeah,
right now you can get every single Kingdom Hearts game on PS4.
God.
Like, all of them are on there. So
That is amazing.
yeah, no, it's and they play really well too. They're beautiful.
Oh,
No, I'll say for me at least. I'll just make the last comments on the PC versus console type thing on here. Honestly, like even though I do prefer playing on consoles. Admittedly, I think my heart's just there for whatever reason. Like I have a banging ass PC. Don't get me wrong, but I haven't really gamed on it all too much. And the thing is, it's like I'm cool with PC. I have nothing against it. It's just my preference seems to be on consoles, and I think that's fair. But I used to be so ignorant that, like when I was younger, like high school and even like early college, like my first year of college, there were two things I would say about PCs. One of them was, again, disclaimer, I don't think like this anymore, but this is how ignorant I used to be. One of them was I like just buying console, popping in a game, and playing it. I don't want to pay $200 or $300 for new hardware every time a new game comes out. The other thing I used to say was, with a PC, I can't just sit back and relax on my couch and play a game. I have to be at a desk, which both of those are complete fallacies. That was just me being, an ignorant, younger teenager. But the thing is as well, too, even the people I argued this to, they weren't as knowledgeable because even if they played on PC, they never refuted those facts with me. Facts, excuse me, in quotes.
Yeah. Yeah, you was wrong.
Oh, I was dead wrong. I was dead ass wrong.
Yeah, and plus the thing is too that people don't take into consideration is like, okay, let's say even if a fucking console you were to pay $300, and for a PC, let's say to get you up and going with what you'd need, you're talking $500. Well, dude, a PC isn't just a gaming console; it's a fucking tool, dude. It's so much more. It's connecting you with the whole community of your friends and shit if you're into social media, and I mean also just typing documents, programming if you're a programmer. It's just there's so many things you can do with it, dude. While like a console is like Netflix and chill or play some video games, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But I'm just saying when people throw the like price tag thing out there, it's absurd. And the constantly having to update your hardware is if only you play every single latest game that comes out and you have to fucking ultra every single one. Otherwise, dude, you're good for some years as long as you get a decent card. Those are some really big myths with console people, and a lot of them are extremely ignorant in that sense, where they've heard that from whatever, PCs are so fucking expensive, and it's bullshit.
It's because the initial cost to entry, it's like, for example, I can get an Xbox One right now, brand new, $300, right? It's not bad. I can get a Switch, brand new, $300 if I can find one, which they're easier to find now at this point. My PC, for example, like I have a beast of a PC. It cost me $2,100 overall, and I had to build it and all that stuff. People might be afraid of building it and doing everything else and getting into the nitty gritty there. And also that price tag, $2,100, comes out. You don't have to spend that much at all. Like this, I have my own reason for spending all that money on there, getting to certain parts. That was still overkill, admittedly. You don't have to spend that much. You can, as you said, do excellent gaming on a $500 PC. Yeah. Just a couple $100 more than a console that's out right now, and then you're going to get your games for a lot cheaper.
I just built my best friend's wife's brother his first gaming PC, and he was on a budget of about $450, and we were able to do it, and it was pretty easy to do it actually, and his shit's running flawless, dude, and he'll be good. Again, is he gonna play like the latest fucking crazy ass game on the new engine and ultra settings? Maybe not, but then again, it's like you don't really need to enjoy it. I mean, unless you're one of those guys, like I'm more than happy with playing most games on medium or high settings. It doesn't really faze me, dude. It's fine. You still get you still get it. It's like, again, like if you've got like the 6-figure job and you want to fucking have like the next, the next newest thing every year, then go for it. But otherwise, you don't need that at all, man. $500 is more than enough to play most of the games that people play on PC, which most of the games people play on PC fall into like 6 fucking games, dude. Like go on Twitch, look at the top games and see how many people play those 6 games. That's the majority of at least competitive PC gaming right there.
And I guarantee some of the games you're talking about, I'm thinking like Dota, LoL, CSGO, Overwatch right now. Those games are so well optimized they can run on a potato.
Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm. None of those need, dude, you can run Dota 2, CSGO, and LoL on a fucking $400, $300. I know people that play them on laptops, dude. Granted, they're not the greatest, but yeah, easily, dude. And again, some people just play those games. So it really just depends on what kind of a play style, not play style, but what kind of a gamer you are. And if you have to have the latest, greatest, and what games do you foresee yourself playing? You really got to ask yourself, like, what do I think I'll be playing on PC, and kind of go with that. Because like this guy too, he plays like H1Z1, Arc, and like those kind of games. Those don't need really high spec either. They're kind of mid range, I guess. So, why did we get on this topic? Where did this start? How did we?
I think we got on the pricing of consoles, like how much they were, and then we talked about PCs or something.
Oh, okay, because we were talking about Xboxes and then emulators, and you asked about the price of Xbox Ones currently, and then that took us on this whole hiatus.
Yeah, that was a bit of a rant.
No, it's fine. I just, all of a sudden it hit me, and I'm like, wait, we didn't have a topic on PCs versus Xbox, or like console versus PC. I just want to know how far, like, because normally I'm the one that like throws off our topic. I just start talking about some bullshit.
Now, we could kind of segue. Your other point, your other naive point was that you couldn't play consoles from your couch. And those options are getting better and better, whether it's a smaller console that you can put in your home entertainment system or streaming options. I believe NVIDIA has an option, Steam has an option. So we're getting more and more of these.
Absolutely.
What is NVIDIA's called? It's not Shadowplay, right? It's different than Shadowplay.
It's not Shadowplay. I don't remember what it's called right now because I haven't. Is it like it's not SharePlay? It's something.
Okay. I'm not sure, to be honest. I've been confused.
Yeah. But speaking of that on there, thank you for that segue as well. This is playing a bunch of video in HTML5 and stuff, so it's going to look horrible on here. But this is actually requested on my Discord, so just kind of shameless plug here. But I have a Discord for my channel, and we have a ModChat chat room on there where I'm just like, hey, if you have any topics you want us to cover on ModChat, kind of throw them out here and we might cover them. And this is actually one of them that was requested. It is Rainway, which there's not too much information on here, at least. It says it's just coming soon, but this allows you to easily stream games from your PC to different devices, whether it might be, a mobile phone of some kind, or the biggest thing is this is actually coming to the Switch.
Supposedly.
It's supposedly?
Hopefully.
It's hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, I mean, I think the big thing is right now this is going to have to be in the Switch's eShop. And, I mean, we're assuming that Nintendo is going to allow something like this. I sure hope so. But, this is going to be, I guess, really telling, too, of what kind of stuff they're going to allow in their community and in their shop.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know Rainway is not, how do we know it's legit? They don't have any, I mean, other than some.
If you check on the YouTube channel, I think there might have been some demos on it or something. I know it's at least been proven.
It says this channel has no videos.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Now I just look like.
It sounds good, but I don't see anyone that's actually showing
a big troll on there. We don't know yet.
It wouldn't be too far fetched, dude.
And they even have a GitHub in their little links at the bottom, but they have no public repositories, which I don't know if that means that when it releases, they're going to be open sourcing something, because that could be really interesting too.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Well, it does show on their Twitter, we just broke over 75,000 beta signups and stuff. So I don't know. It's just interesting that there's not even in regards to our tweet about we can find a background. I don't know. I think there'd be a little more proof of concept or something.
I mean, you were saying that it definitely depends on if Nintendo's going to allow it and such. And I'll say this, I found this, Twitter's my source on here. But if you want to see what Nintendo is allowing, it's ass.
Yeah, I mean, fair, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not allowing very much at all.
What?
They're not allowing very much at all.
Oh no, I'm saying. I mean, look at the screen.
Oh, literal ass.
Yeah. Kimishima is definitely an ass guy, from what I see.
I ain't mad.
Well, I sure hope so, man. I mean, they've had some more indie stuff coming out, but this is also more like a utility kind of.
This is a utility. It's not directly a game, so.
So, I don't know. We'll see. That would be sweet. I mean, the Switch is already a great console. If I could have the same luxury of lounging around in my apartment and play PC games, I think I would actually play him a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've been enjoying the Switch. I doubt you'll be able to play remotely, obviously, but you know, being able to downscale your game to 720p on the screen would be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, the Switch's screen looks great too. So when people are complaining about 720p, I'm like, looks
great.
Honestly, it looks. If you're looking at the screen, it looks great to me.
My phone only plays 720p. That one that I bought, that's like a Amazon whatever one, and that shit looks very nice. It looks really on such a small. I mean, on a smaller screen compared to something blown up, it's pretty hard. I feel like to tell. I mean, I'm sure there's a difference. Don't get me wrong. It's 720 versus 1080, but it looks good. Like there's no denying that it looks good.
Well, and just to like my naked eye, when I dock my Switch and I play on my TV, it's not like I go, whoa, I should play on the TV all the time. This looks so much better. It really, I mean, it kind of, I think, helps with the Switch's, main proposition is that it's a seamless transition. So I think it's a good thing too. But like, I don't know. I don't really feel like there's a huge difference when you downscale it to 720p at even like a 6-inch screen. I think it is. It still looks really good. Your eyes can only pick up so much detail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have they released any other good titles on the Switch since launch, or not really? It's still pretty much Zelda.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which I have. I won't bring this up on ModChat here, but I do have a topic in regards to that. In short, it's just Nintendo has a golden opportunity to re-release a bunch of Wii U exclusives on Switch and make new games for it.
Right. I talked to so many people who played on my Switch, like especially at work, who had talked about how they wanted to play Mario Kart, but they didn't want to buy a Wii U. And now that they see the Switch, they're like, okay, yeah, I'll definitely get that.
Mario Kart 8 is a brand new game to a lot of people.
Right. No one is like, that's an old game. They're like, no, this is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we looks like we have kind of segueing here a bit. We have two topics. One that was actually, we kind of just went all over the place with Xbox One stuff. So it's Xbox One. And we have another Vita thing here before we kind of wrap up with stuff that we had pre-prepared. But one of them, this seems to be, it started with, I'll even bring it up on my screen here. There we go. So it started off with this guy. He said credit goes to hexadecimal. This was on GBATemp as well, too. Now, kind of backtrack a little bit, let's say 20 minutes or so, and I was talking about the Xbox One stuff, and I said, you can't modify your games or anything because retail stuff don't work on dev and vice versa. There's, I guess, one guy, Hexadecimal, had ended up showing this. It was originally a private video, and then Corner Path just ripped the video and leaked it out. And the quality is not really the best on here, admittedly, but I'll have the links down below and such. But this is Titanfall 2 and Halo Master Chief Collection. Retail games, I don't know if he got developer versions of them or if there's a type of modification. It seems to be hinted that there is some signs of modding on there. Whether that be, they took the retail version, modified it. Again, not 100% sure. But it seems like on Titanfall 2, he has a working dev menu on this. And then on Master Chief Collection, he was able to modify the actual game itself. Again, though, this is private and this is from a leaked video. So there's really not a bunch of information out there. Really, the most extensive information we have is, yes, these are mods. These are legit. We're not going to reveal, what we did.
Right. And that's pretty interesting because what you just said earlier was that if you do make it into an Xbox One dev kit, you can't play retail games. So they're either
play retail games,
cracking the firmware or cracking the game somehow.
Mm-hmm. I'd seen one YouTuber, I believe GameCheat13, he actually had a video where on Halo 2, and there was a modification for Halo 2 Anniversary. He was flying around in a Pelican. I believe he had recorded the footage, and I don't know if he had the method or if it was someone else. He gave credit to someone else on there that was kind of secretive. But the point is, we're at least seeing some mods for games, very, very sparingly and rare, of course. But again, I don't know if these are just people that have access to the dev builds of these games, or if these are people who are somehow able to modify the retail builds of them.
Right. It is exciting, though. I remember some of my most fun times actually, doing mods and stuff like that was modding Halo 2 using .halo. That was an amazing time. So I'd love to see something like that start up again.
Yeah.
Hey, was there any update, Mario, to the whole Xbox, how they were going to be trying to build back a server on the original Xbox so that way you could play Halo?
I do know some stuff about that. There is a official. The thing is, I've talked with the guys. At least Kiwi, I've talked with him privately on there. There's some movement. All I'll say is there's some movement on there, and I'm going to work to have Kiwi as a guest again so that he can elaborate on it,
Cool.
just so I don't mess up anything.
Got you. Okay,
that's all I'll say.
Cool. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Our last thing here as well too, if we kind of want to segue into this is going back to the Vita right here. But for anybody who has one of the big complaints with the Vita has been this, specifically the Vita, not the PSTV. The PSTV, if you have HENkaku, you could actually use USB storage and not buy the super expensive proprietary memory sticks. But this has still been an issue with the Vita itself, where the memory sticks are quite expensive. I think a 64 gigabyte memory stick for the Vita is well over $100 or $120. And yeah, it seems like that this has been development for a minute, and it's upcoming here at least. But there is a MicroSD card that is slated for release at one point. It seems like here inventory will likely be stocked in major regions at some point. He also said this Rich Dev X had a proof of concept working for a while now, and will be sending the board to be manufactured when I get back from Toronto. That was on May 10th. So the cool thing is, I mean, you can see the prototype here, but if we can have this solution, that would be absolutely fantastic.
One guy, though, down below was saying that it might be fake right there in the update.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was Yifan Liu, who is a really well-respected modder hacker in the community, responsible for a decent bit of the 3DS and the PS Vita stuff.
I believe he said there were some things where there would be like incompatibility with you'd be using microSD cards with the device. So
right. And the thing is, Rich DevX is also, I mean, Yifan Liu, he's been, I think he's been, don't know if he's been around longer. I know he at least has a higher respect level, I'd say, but Rich DevX, he's been known to be legitimate as well too. But this does bring up here, this guy, Yifan Liu, has posted significant concerns about the possibility of such an adapter being real, or if it is real, questioning its usefulness. His doubts are based on former research from Vita hackers, in particular Motoharu, which indicates the PS Vita memory card might not be compatible with the SD protocol and or might use security that couldn't easily be bypassed with a simple adapter. Additionally, the hacker shared concerns on how articles like this one contribute to spread unverified rumors for such hacks. So take all above with a pinch of salt, I guess, while I'll go cry in a corner after this severe burn. Joke aside, Yifan Liu makes some very compelling points, and you can read his take. You can read his take on Reddit here. So
it's still a chance that it could be real. I mean, he's just saying though that it's probably pretty unlikely because of the difficulties and prior information released on it. But it doesn't say that it's not. He's not saying like there's no way in hell. He's just saying that it's
don't get your hopes up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Until you actually see them.
I think eventually it's a possibility, but
yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've seen crazier things with this kind of stuff, but also what I'm curious about is whether that was like a picture that the person creating this actually posted, or was that like a concept image? I thought it was interesting that it had 2 SD card slots. Like, what kind of memory
you're saying the one at the top?
in that thing? Yeah.
Oh no, that was the PSP one.
Oh, that was a PSP one?
That one actually exists.
That one exists, and they've been around for a while.
I've heard about them. I've never actually seen one in the wild. So
I have one that I can dig up and show you, just so you could say that you've seen one in the wild.
Okay. I might have to get myself one when I update my PSP that's been sitting around for a while.
Absolutely. I think I didn't try it myself, but I think I set it up and gave it to a friend. He said that it worked, but his PSP was having some issues. But they've been around for so long that they are known to work. The reliability I can't guarantee on there, but they work.
Right. Well, I really hope so. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure what Sony was trying to achieve with these proprietary formats. I thought they learned their lesson after the generation of the PSP. Well, I know that they were used for cameras and stuff, and so that's kind of why they carried it over. But
well, see, that's the thing too. They learned their lesson from the PSP was that it was so easy to transfer files back and forth because the memory card they used was, it was Sony exclusive, but it was also Sony standard in a way. So many people had adapters; they were able to easily transfer files and such. And also the Vita, it's extremely locked down when it comes to transferring files. You cannot just hook it up. Like if you're using a stock Vita, you cannot just hook it up to your computer or plug it in or anything. One, you can't plug the card in because it's proprietary. And two, if you just hook it up to USB, you have to use it's not QMCA, but you have to use a actual file manager that Sony provides, and it is very convoluted and locked down.
It's a shame.
So
yeah.
They did learn their lesson, not in the way that benefits homebrewers, though.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Aside from that, I mean, those are the topics that I had to cover on there that we had prepared. So at this point, if and thank you. See, I think QCMA was the one that was the open source one or the modified build. But anyways, on all this, if you all, it's pretty much for anyone who's live in the comment section here, it's open season with questions and all that. So, for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to be answering questions you have. So if you have any questions for us, please drop them in the chat and let us know. I actually, while we're kind of waiting on that, I actually have a bit of a story that I could share if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
So this, I've met some people, some people like offline, not on here. They know about my YouTube channel, or they've met me through YouTube or whatever. And normally the place I work at, it gets around at one point. Pretty much I'll talk with somebody who, I tell them, hey, I have a channel. I don't tell everyone, but there's some people I tell, and they might bring it up in conversation around other people or whatever it is. But the point is, there is somebody I have, somebody I know at work who I'm pretty good friends with, and we play games, we trade off games, all that fun stuff. He modifies the systems as well too, so he's like one of the few people I could talk about with modding and such quite a bit and pretty extensively. I'm actually helping out with some PS3 stuff here soon. But what happened was he was gone for 2 weeks, so I didn't see him, I didn't talk to him or anything, and then he came back, and I ran by his desk, and I was like, hey, dude, how was your trip, all this other stuff, and we're talking and catching up, and he's just like, oh, hey, I found your YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, how? Because in my head, I was just thinking, okay, which one of my coworkers was watching a video and linked it to you? And he's like, no. So what happened was I was looking up some PS3 stuff because my cousin, he has a PS3 that's fully modded, and I wanted to learn how to do it on my own. And I was looking up PS3 stuff on YouTube, and I saw one of your videos. And just to be sure, because it sounded like you, but just to be sure, I watched a few more videos, and I'm like, yep, that's Danny.
Dang.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know if that would be flattering or awkward.
It was flattering for sure. I think because of other encounters I've had and such. I've had crazier encounters through YouTube and everything. So with that, I was like, oh, that's actually a very realistic way of figuring out I have a YouTube channel. But it was interesting. I thought it was interesting and funny at the same time. But yeah, no, then we talked about that for a little bit, and then he was asking me about some PS3 modding stuff because he wants to mod his own. So that'll be something fun to kind of help him out with.
Nice, man.
I don't know.
It's a small world.
I don't know if I've known anyone really that's hit me up, finding my YouTube channel directly and then getting, not that I know in real life. Most of the time it's they ended up finding out. If I know you long enough, you probably know I make YouTube videos. So I don't do a whole lot. It's one of the things that I do. And for me, the most awkward thing is even just the other day I was streaming, and I went over to my girlfriend's house for Mother's Day, and her mom and grandma were like, oh, we were watching you building your printer. It just means I was live streaming, and she put on me building my 3D printer on her TV for her family to watch. And I'm like, it's a little, I don't know, man. For me, it's a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in my thing, it's I'm in my zone, and I know I'm talking to my chat, and I know, I mean, these people that come recurringly, I know them on a I don't know, some kind of a basis, but it's just weird when people, for me, it's a little different when people in real life. For me, it just feels a little more oh shit, you're me, what'd you think? And kind of stuff like that.
It's the same for me as well too, Millie. Actually, I like my brothers like to watch my videos, and they probably won't see this one because it's like going to be a 2-hour podcast. But they like to watch my videos, and they'll tell some of their friends and all that stuff. And there's this. It's a double-edged sword because I'm one of those people where even it's weird. I don't like drawing attention to myself, yet I have this YouTube channel where I'm live streaming and uploading videos and have over 37,000 subscribers, and thank you all for that. I appreciate it. But it's weird. It just feels weird and icky. Like, I don't know, talking with people about it sometimes when they're just like, oh yeah, I was watching you on YouTube and I was watching this video. I'm like, stop. I don't. No, we're good. But yeah, no, even like when I was talking with my parents about it, I was like, I just don't want my brothers telling everyone about it. My dad's like, well, your channel's public. I don't get it. Like, your channel's public. The whole point of it is to, watch you on there. If you didn't want it, it wouldn't be public. I was like, yeah, but I don't know. This is still weird for some reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit of that. I haven't really done much on YouTube at all. Just 1 or 2 very, very small videos years ago. And several people at my job knew about it. And I told some of my friends and a little bit of my family. So even that was kind of like really weird and awkward. And I wouldn't like re-listen to the last podcast I was on for a little while. I'd be like, how weird did I sound? This is, like,
yeah, you sound way different than you think you sound. Like hearing yourself play back, it's just I'm like, man, like I sound like a douchebag. No, after a while, you kind of sort of get used to it. But I still feel like, for me at least, I'm like the most socially unsocial person that I know. I can be very social, but then I can be very like non-social at the same time. Like how some people are like social and they're just very like whatever. I don't care. Like this, they're just kind of outgoing with no thought. They just exist and kind of do their thing. While for me, I'm always like, I question a lot of shit. So like I'll do something, I'll be really social, and afterwards I'll kind of be like second guessing myself, like, oh, did I do that right? Was that the right move, or did I offend anyone or something like that? So I don't know. It's easier to just not care, but I have a hard time doing that for some reason. So I don't know. There's more good than bad with it, There's more like positive feeling for sure and rewarding feeling. Otherwise, I don't think that Mr. Mario, or I wouldn't be continuing if I felt like the negatives outweighed the positives.
Right.
Should we get to some of the questions here? It looks like a few have rolled in.
Absolutely. Let's see. Tavin's asking here, what's your guys' thought on custom Wii U themes?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I got halfway done setting up my Wii U.
Halfway?
I'm pretty sure I'm at the part where I bought the game for cold booting, or not cold booting, for booting from the home screen. So I didn't ever finish. I don't know about the themes yet, so you're going to have to guide me on this one.
Oh, dude, I don't know shit about the themes.
Oh, man.
Daniel, what about you?
I've never used to Wii U.
Oh, my God. Davin, I'm so sorry to disappoint you. No, I think I just picked the default black theme. I'm not into theming things for whatever reason.
Me neither.
I don't theme my phones. I don't theme my consoles. I don't do, like, the most extensive thing I do is I change the background on something. I used to do when I was in like middle school, like I was going crazy with my PSP and some other systems, but now I just don't care, honestly. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm sure that's a really disappointing answer from all of us, but like I didn't look into the themes at all.
Out of 3 of us, none of us.
Yeah. So I'm gonna look at my phone wallpaper right now.
Sure.
It's black. It's literally just black.
Well, that's depressing, Dev.
Mine. Wait, hold on.
It blends in nice. My phone's black. The screen's black. It works.
That's extremely depressing. No, I got like. Yeah.
Oh, my phone's dead, so that's not gonna work. Yeah, mine's default too. When I boot it on, it's literally just got their default wallpaper. It's like an animated chick doing yoga or something like that.
No, I got like some vaporwave thing I changed on mine right there, like just like some depressing nowhere type thing, and then the background, like when I unlock it, it's just all vaporwave.
It's still pretty like nonchalant, It's not too wild.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, seriously, like even this is I do enjoy this, but like look at this for like I enjoy this because this is like a few of my favorite things. It's happiness, rainbows, vomiting, and a fox.
That's a rare find, though. That's like
Exactly.
a gem of a wallpaper.
Exactly, it really is. I am very proud of having this wallpaper right here.
And my wallpaper is default. It's the Windows default wallpaper, man.
Oh god, that's depressing too.
It wasn't always that way, but I mean, I just after the last time, I think Christmas is when I built, all the upgrades and stuff, and after that, I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck, dude. It's never on the home screen. I've always got 10 tabs open and like 3 games running. So it's I don't know, man. For me,
I actually, when I think my laptop's background wasn't synced up on there, I actually had questions for my brothers. They're like, Danny, why don't you have the fox throwing up on there? I'm like, I'll add it later. They're like, Danny, but the fox that throws up, it's not on there.
It's like you're
They were
Dude.
really concerned.
Dude, when you get close to your mic, you sound like you're on a late night radio show.
Really?
Yeah, dude. It doesn't sound bad. Like for some reason, it doesn't sound like how like when you're playing a video game and someone tries to like troll and it just sounds clear.
Well,
but,
also
like,
see, I brought my voice down. Like this is my normal talking voice, and then
Okay.
this is the voice
yeah.
I was using to
As I
talk
say, it
to
sounds like
the-
radio. Because
to the
if you
mic.
if you used your normal voice, it'd probably be AIDS for my ears. But
Yo,
yeah, it's like,
I've been listening to NPR, so I got to practice.
nice, dude. Yeah,
And,
killing it, bro. You're fucking nailing it, dude.
Dude, I've been listening to we'll get on to another question here. I'm sorry, but like I've been listening to NPR because for my dog, when she's home alone, I end up getting her a little radio and I play NPR on there. So there's like mornings when I'm leaving and I'm like, damn, really interesting topic. So like I'll get in my car and I'm listening to NPR. Like there's nothing wrong with it, man. There's really interesting stuff on there. It's very insightful. I think it's great.
You've got Google Assistant on your phone now. You know how you can set up news sources so that if you got in your car, you can say, listen to the news, and you can listen to your NPR.
But I also have a radio in my car. So
radio.
It's HD radio.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know it's actually called HD radio. I'm like, I don't think this is actually HD, but it does sound nicer. I'll give them that.
Have you ever listened to talk radio with your subs turned all the way up?
Not all the way up, but if somebody has like kind of a deep voice and they have like a hard P that hits, then it just like you feel it.
That was pretty good.
Yep. Next thing here, I'm sure we talked about this before, but I mean we're hearing a few things now. Well, more things that we have at least. But thoughts on Xbox Scorpio?
I have none. I don't keep up with the console train nearly as much these days, man.
I'm sorry for the disappointment here, guys.
Yeah, nothing's changed since last time me and you talked about it.
I guess for opinions, but like there's been the specs have officially been announced by Digital Foundry. We've seen pictures of the Devkit as well too. The Devkit looks really nice. It's supposed to be even smaller than the Xbox One S. It's going to have, I mean, at least the Devkit's going to have like a nice little LED, well, not LED, but like LED screen on there that by default it will have frames per second and such on there that you could check. You can change different modes on there, so you could have it on like regular OG Xbox One mode to test compatibility. You could have it in Scorpio mode. You can do different boosts and such. Although the thing I find really funny is there were several people that were complaining about that screen. They're just like, oh, we don't need that little LCD screen right there that shows the frames per second because we're actually developing the game on our computer, and when we're doing everything there, we can actually see the frames per second in real time. It's a complete waste to have it there. Nobody asked for this. And one of the people who was like heading all this, who was releasing these photos, he's like, actually the devs that we talked to are the people that asked for this. So first off, it's not just FPS. You can customize to anything. And second, all the devs we talked to, because we talked to devs and asked them, what do you want in the Xbox One? And several people specified this. We would love to talk with the devs that you're talking to that apparently say they did not want this feature. But spec-wise, it seems neat so far. I think the make or break thing is really going to be the price as well, too. I'm hoping if they could have it for like $450, that would be fantastic. But they're also not trying to sell it as a budget system. They're trying to sell it as, a premium Xbox One.
Right, but it's going to be more powerful, and I'm guessing they're going to be exclusives, right?
There's not going to be. It is going to be more powerful, but they are saying that there's not going to be Scorpio exclusives. Again, disclaimer: they are saying that. So they're saying that every single game that's releasing on the Xbox One. It will work on the Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox Scorpio. Personally, I think we're going to see some games that will be just so much more dramatically better on Scorpio to the point where it shouldn't be run on Xbox One, or just piss poor on the original Xbox One. Or we might even see Nintendo where we're just going to flat out see some games that don't work on the original Xbox One, such as like Xenoblade Chronicles 3D.
Right. It'll be interesting. Is there? I notice there's no release date, but is there like a general time frame that people are expecting this?
This year, I think November, December of this year.
Late. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's surprising. I suppose they're not continuing to sell the Xbox One and the Xbox One S side by side, are they?
No. They're just selling the. I think they're just like really clearance, just selling refurbs and trying to clearance out the original Xbox One SKU. Definitely by the time Scorpio's out, like they're just going to be throwing those out the door.
Right. I mean, I don't know. It's just surprising. I'll be interested to see if they try and continue to sell the Xbox One S as more of like a budget console.
Mm-hmm.
And the Xbox Scorpio is a premium, more expensive one.
Did you guys say what it's retailing at? I'm sorry.
No, there's no verified price. There's well, not even verified. There's no price that's been released.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
If you hit a ballpark it, what do you guys think? 5 or more?
I don't think they should sell it for over 500. I think 450 would be really pushing it.
What's the Pro retailing right now?
Pro for 400. That's why I'm saying like 450 maybe. I don't think they're going to sell for 400. I just don't think so.
Yeah, because Scorpio is supposed to be even more powerful than the Pro, right? And
much more powerful than the Pro. Yeah.
Supposed to like output at a more true 4K.
They were saying that, but now they're saying it's sparse rendering, which is checkerboard rendering, which is like a fake 4K. So it's not upscaled, but it's like almost 4K in a way. It's
that's interesting.
The thing is, though, they're the people that they're selling this to, like a majority of people, they're going to hook it up to their TV. They're going to select the 2160p option, and they're going to say, "Hey, the game's running in 4K, even though it's not running at native 4K."
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
it'll be interesting. Just as the Xbox One is really starting to gain some traction, Scorpio is going to come out. That'll be definitely interesting. I wonder if they'll lock it down more and make the dev kits not nearly as easy by then, because it'd be rough for that to still be kind of accessible at that point.
I don't think they're going to change that at all. I don't think they're going to change the security because the Xbox One is already quite locked down.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. I suppose we'll really see what happens if some of this stuff that we saw with the modded games comes out. If that comes out and is doing that somehow, I think that's going to raise some red flags.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think they're going to change the security on it, though. I think it's still going to be the same. Anyways, let's see. Another question on here. I guess we kind of joked about this on Twitter, but do you guys want to? What are your thoughts on Stomedy?
I aspire to be more like Stomedy every day. It's typically.
I've only watched like one Stomedy video ever.
Really, which one was it?
I have no idea, dude. It's been forever. I think it was your fault that I even watched it too, because you were doing all those memes and stuff, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then I went on his channel. It might have been the Corn on the Cob one, dude, where he like puts it on a drill.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a couple of his videos. I don't subscribe or keep up with him, but it's a definitely a ride. It's not your average YouTube.
It's a living meme.
He's a living meme. He is the legendary meme. I think he's a fantastic human being, and I also aspire to be more like him. Also, my favorite thing is like one of my favorite things on YouTube now is like somebody has that clip where it's just him slow down saying "ah yes" from Pyrocynical's first Stomedy video, and when I need to reply, like if there's like a yes or no question and the answer is yes, I just reply with that video link.
Do you keep it in like a Google Keep note so you can always?
No, because it's just Control T YouTube tab Stomedy. Oh yes, and it normally auto completes for me like 10 times over. Yeah, I have it down to muscle memory at this point. If that video ever gets taken down, I'm actually going to be really disappointed because then there's going to be a lot of lost jokes there. But then also I have the video like saved on my computer too, so I'll like upload it as like comments and replies on social media and stuff. It's great.
I was gonna say, make sure you download that, archive that.
Absolutely. By the way, somebody's saying I bring up Stomedy in any conversation. This time it was specifically asked. It was specifically asked on Twitter and on here by Ethan Boomer. He asked, "Are you going to talk about Stomedy?" So yes, the answer is we did.
Have you ever interacted with Stomedy over Twitter or YouTube?
I have not. I've just like I think the most I've done on Twitter is when I see a bag of Maltesers out in the wild, I take a picture, then tweet him in it.
Oh man, has he ever? He's never responded.
No, he doesn't use his Twitter, man.
Oh,
yeah.
How often does he make videos?
Multiple times a day.
Oh no shit! Is that
yeah, no, that's his full-time thing.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding, man. Yeah, I know he's paying for his house with YouTube. He's got cars and all that stuff. Like I've even looking like, no, he's not doing too bad. Like the past 5 days he's gotten, I'm looking at his Social Blade numbers. This dude is growing in subs. This guy is getting like minimum 200 subs a day, growing 200 subs a day at minimum. And he's getting around, at least 100,000 views per day.
He's
my dude Stomedy's doing well.
1,700 videos.
Yeah, no, like his as of Social Blade right now, he's got almost 600,000 subscribers. He's got almost 200,000 views. Like, no, not even 200 million views. Like, Stomedy's doing pretty well. That dude ain't no joke. Don't sleep on him.
Man. Well, I was gonna say you should reach out to him. Maybe you can get him on the podcast.
Do that Stomedy collab.
I don't know if he's gonna stoop down to your lows, man. That's some serious subscribers.
That's the thing. I'm so beneath him at this point, man.
Yeah, you lost your chance.
Yeah, I did. Hey, it's all good. I'll sit back and observe, and I props to him. Even though what he does is stupid, and he does some scummy things like the clickbait and all that. Like he's such a big clickbaiter. But I'm like, yo, I gotta respect the hustle. Honestly, I gotta respect the hustle. He's making a living off this.
Free PSA
also,
codes.
I just like occasionally, like every few weeks or so, I'll go to his channel and like try and watch a video, and like I'll watch like 1 or 2 videos. And I'm like, I'm laughing the whole time because he's a goofy guy. It's more I'm laughing at him, I guess. We're making subscribers out here.
Jeez.
Oh my god. All right, I guess back on regular questions here. But thoughts on Android rooting from you guys?
Ooh, I have some thoughts.
All right.
I have lots of thoughts. And so Android rooting, just in general?
He said thoughts on Android rooting, so let's just take it in general.
All right. Well, I am a fairly long-time Android user, and the reason why I was really interested in Android to begin with was because of how easy it was to root and modify your operating system. I even got into compiling my own custom ROMs and kernels and stuff. And here I sit now with a completely locked Pixel, which is also the easiest phone to modify. So I don't know. There's a couple things that annoy me, like Android Pay blocking root now, and Pokemon Go for the few times I actually want to play that at this point. But I don't know. Like, I loved Android because it was like I can mod my phone. It's amazing. But at this point, I just want like a stable device. If I had a second phone, like if I could afford a second decent Android phone, maybe I'd play around with it more. But I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of over it at this point. I want my phone to be stable. That's like the one thing I want in my life, to be really like stable and reliable.
My question to you is, I mean, what was making it unstable and unreliable? Because like I have root on my phone. I use like 5 root apps in total, and my phone is extremely stable.
Because I can't help but keep pushing it. I mean, I was to the point where I was compiling my own kernels, and I was undervolting all the CPU levels to give each CPU scale as little power as possible to get as much juice out of my phone as possible. And I seem to not be able to help but do that if I have the chance. Or if my bootloader's locked, it's like, man, I got a factory reset to do that? No, I'll do that later. Like, I don't know.
Self-control is what it is.
Yeah, it really kind of comes down to it. And people at my work joke with me. I'll be like, "Oh, I don't know. I decided to give this like new kernel out, a try. I found it on the forums. It looks really good." And my coworker's like, "Oh, damn it, starting again. It's happening."
It's happening.
But I know me and you have had this discussion quite a bit about this, and you have stayed on the root side of things for quite a while.
Yeah, all the years that I've been on Android, the only time I was off root for longer than like 2 days, it was a few weeks I didn't have root, was when I was a pretty dedicated Pokemon Go player. But then it got to the point I really just stopped playing Pokemon Go, and there's two things that are really holding me back. I don't use Android. Well, the two negatives I see is like I don't use Android Pay, and I don't play Pokemon Go anymore.
And Netflix.
From what I don't use Netflix on my phone, so that doesn't affect me. But I did hear about that.
I think you can sideload the APK, so it's not as deep as Android Pay or Pokemon, but I would suspect it's coming.
Yeah, but yeah, no. The point is on there. It's I was able to like because I don't use Android Pay and I don't play Pokemon Go anymore. It got to the point I was like, the few benefits I have of root, I actually really do miss. And even now, like I have I have an iPhone as my secondary, and then I have my OnePlus 3T, and on my iPhone I have Pokemon Go installed on there. I haven't played it at all this year. So I have a completely stocked, fully updated iPhone, and I never play it.
I do have a spare iPhone that I thought about doing just for Pokemon Go. So that's still a possibility.
Mm-hmm. There's an update that launched today. If you guys didn't know, there's a new event out. So it's like another candy event, and fucking Aerodactyls are going to be spawning. So
the fossil event. Yeah. I know. See, the events have actually kind of kept me in.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask.
Consistent.
Go on.
No, I was just saying they've been more like consistent with them lately. It feels like it's been kind of one after another. Wasn't there just one like a grass? There was just a grass event like a week
grass
ago.
Event?
Yeah, grass Pokemon were spawning.
Okay.
Yeah. But I did want to ask you guys: have either of you used Android Pay or Apple Pay? Any of those wireless payment systems?
Never.
I mean, it's pretty. I have to say, especially with like the new chip and pin stuff, I have all my cards have chips in them, and my main place I shop for groceries does not have it available, which kind of frustrates me. But I found a lot of other places, and it is really amazing. I literally like unlock my phone with the fingerprint scanner, get close, and it's paid, and I pull it away. Whereas the chip and pin now, I have to stick it in, wait for a while, wait for like 30 seconds, and pull it out. So literally, my phone is much more convenient in every aspect because I half the time have it in my hand already, and it literally is like I had some issues with like what used to be Google Wallets. That's what they originally called the wireless payment part, and then that got all spun off. But the first time I tried it, I had some issues. But nowadays, I mean, it is literally instant, and you're paid, and you're putting it in your pocket, and no one even
like what big places use it.
Well, a lot of times it's not even big places. I noticed that there's actually a liquor store near me that uses it. Surprisingly, they just like have those small little.
Doesn't Starbucks use it?
Starbucks, I think, does. I come across
Is Square compatible with it?
I'm not sure.
McDonald's, I believe, uses it.
McDonald's uses it. I don't ever go to McDonald's. It annoys me because like I don't really spend money at too many different places aside from like a restaurant, which doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like a sit-down restaurant, you can't use really Android Pay for that here in the U.S. at least. And then I'll find occasional ones where like I'll see their little thing and I'm like, oh, can I pay with my phone? Like, yeah, boom. CVS is the worst though because they have signs up still that say they have it, and I guess a number of months ago they turned it off for all the CVSs across the country. So I went up with my phone looking like a fool, and I was just like,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Doesn't CVS also not? I don't think they use chips at their system yet, do they? Or have they adapted to that?
I can't remember. I went there not
Okay,
too long ago, but I don't remember because I don't go very often.
There's several places I go to, and it throws me off because like they have physically have a chip system right there, but then they have like just it completely taped off. They have like a shitty written note next to it that says, "Sorry, we don't use chips yet."
My favorite thing is I've seen people who had like a little fake plastic card that they inserted into the bottom that just like has an arrow that's like, "Please swipe." Like, no, we don't. No chips.
Yeah,
And I'm
like no swipe, please.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
I don't go out very much, so.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, with Amazon, you don't need to.
Yeah, I don't need
Right.
to. And then there's drive-thrus, so just yeah.
Now that is another thing. Android Pay, I don't know about Apple Pay, but Android Pay is pretty neat because it's integrated on the phone too. So I believe Uber integrates with Android Pay directly. So you're like your cards that you put on Android Pay are available right there. Surprised more apps haven't used it, but it'll be nice not having to like enter in your cards into these different services as they're just connected to your Google account.
On topic of this too, actually, there's another question here, but someone's asking, what's a good rooting resource?
XDA.
I was gonna say XDA as well.
It's the only one I ever used. Really,
I used to prefer RootsWiki, especially when I was doing some of my own ROMs and kernels and stuff. It seemed to be like a really good community there, and seemed like a better place for smaller developers too. But they got the original developer of that eventually ended up selling the site, making a decent profit. Actually, I know him personally, and so like it's kind of one of those things. Like when I heard like how much he got offered for the website, it's like I don't blame you at all. So I think they're still around.
Everyone has their own price, man.
Oh yeah, I think they're still around. They're just it's so full of ads, and at this point, XDA is like kind of the de facto.
Gotcha. I mean, normally if I get a phone, I root it, like even like my OnePlus, I just look up in Google OnePlus 3T XDA, and it takes me to the development section. Top sticky thing there, how to root OnePlus 3T, or how to root, insert your phone model here, whatever it is.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good resource. I haven't done any rooting in quite a long time. I was going to root my little Blue from Amazon just to get rid of the ads and stuff.
Oh, I did that.
I just decided after having it for like 6 months, I don't give a fuck. The ads don't bug me, man. Sometimes I actually want the shit in the ads, man.
Yeah. That means they're working. Right? That means they're working really well.
Yeah. Well, because it goes based off of your browsing history and your search, like through Amazon. Since it's linked to your Amazon, it knows what you look at on Amazon. So I'm like, shit, I do need to get some deodorant. I stink, or something like that. So
dude, that reminds me of there was like I think it was like the first episode of South Park about NSA and all that stuff. I don't remember what the exact item is, so I'll just improvise here. But like Cartman was convinced that the NSA was spying on him and everything he was doing. He's talking with someone on the phone. He's like, no, I swear they're watching me and they're watching everything I'm shopping for, because I was kind of interested in getting Game of Thrones the other night on DVD, and look, I'm on my computer right now, and it's recommending Game of Thrones to me to buy on Amazon. They're totally listening to me.
Well, it's scary stuff.
Yeah, but it's getting, those tracking cookies have always been there, but it's getting very noticeable for me, especially in the past year, because now it gets to the point I look up something on Amazon, and I go to another website, and I see it's like, it's not even like websites. It's like if I like fire up Skype, for example, or someone that has an Amazon ad, it's like, hey, you should look at this. I'm like, I just looked at that shit like 20 minutes ago.
Spooky.
Like, give it some time, dude. Pump the brakes a little bit.
It gets really interesting with all these devices now too. I've heard plenty of stories on the internet. It's never really happened to me where someone's like, oh, I was talking about something. I never Google searched something, and then it showed up as a suggestion on like my Google feed or whatever. Now, I've had a Google Home for, I guess, 5 months, since around Christmas, and I've not had anything like that. But I mean, I think the possibility is there with these microphone-enabled devices everywhere.
Mm-hmm. It's been there for the longest time.
It's got to be lawsuit, right? Like you could probably sue if they don't ask permission to the listener.
No, because I mean, it's
terms of service,
buried.
Man.
It's buried in the terms of service that you agreed to.
Yeah.
That's why it
Gotta
cracks
be.
me up too. Like so I'm sure you and I'm sure many other people listening have heard the thing. And by the way, just want to interject this. Blue Snow, thank you for the donation. But when it comes on this as well too, I believe there, like, people have complained several times about Facebook tracking or like Facebook changing things. So I'm sure you all have heard of things. It's happened at least once or twice where Facebook just tried to experiment on all their users, and they wanted to see, hey, what if we show our users mostly sad and depressing posts, and what if we show these other users, happy and gleeful posts, and they want to kind of do those experiments. And you have these people that are just like, oh, they can't do this, they can't do this. It's like, actually they can, because you agreed to use the service, and you agreed to that terms of service right there that you didn't read. If you really have an issue with it, shut down your account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right. Again, I'm not, like, morally, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just like, well, you're using their service and you're agreeing to their terms, and they're doing what they want to within the confines of the term service that you agreed to make your account use it.
I mean, there is the age-old term, vote with your dollar, and the companies, you are the dollar.
It's true.
Yeah.
Free services.
Data is so valuable now at this point. That's why big data is also becoming another big thing, because now we're big, but we're coming into the issue now where people are just gathering data, and they don't know what the hell to do with it. Like, they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to sift through it. So now big data is becoming a whole topic. Like, how can we manipulate this? How can we learn from this? How can we utilize this so it doesn't just sit on a server somewhere?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's basically my job.
Big data?
Yeah, I mean, to a good extent. We're basically, my job, we're trying to gather as much info and knowledge about these sports teams, fans, and manipulate that data for their benefit and the fans' benefit. So,
Gotcha.
I'm in the thick of it, and it's not nearly as evil as it sometimes sounds. At least not yet.
In college, I actually took a course. It was a master's level course where it was working with big data and all this stuff. It was complex. It wasn't something that I really want to pursue at this point, but it was interesting. It was quite fun. Like, we worked on, data analysis, scraping websites as well too. It was really fun stuff.
Yeah, I don't think inherently, like, big data stuff is bad by any means. I think it's gotten somewhat of a stigma in certain contexts, like Google, and Facebook and whatnot, with all the knowledge that they have on people. I do think it's, it is another thing for someone like Google, who has such a coverage of so many people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's an interesting topic.
It is. It's definitely also it's definitely CPU intensive as well. So there's that's why, like, sometime after I took that course and I was talking with people about, like, building computers and all that stuff, or no, like, I even said this several times when talking about consoles, when with the console wars between PS4 and Xbox One, some people would say, the Xbox One had a better CPU. It's like, no, it's the same CPU. It's clocked slightly higher. But the thing is, the CPU really, I mean, for the gaming we're doing, it really doesn't matter unless you're doing something like data mining on the side, which you're not going to do on a console.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely hoped to use my desktop at that time. Oh boy. Yeah. Anyways, at this point, I don't know, unless anyone has any other questions, kind of just throw into the chat here. I'm feeling satisfied right now. How about you guys?
I've got a pretty sexy taco in my fridge, so it's calling my name. I heard it like 10 minutes ago.
Is that for a fleshlight, or?
yeah, it's code for I gotta go. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, no, this was a great episode. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. Devin, you did well. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. No, actually, fun fact: the last episode Devin was on, where he was co-hosting with me, that was actually his first time ever podcasting.
Thank you for
like
filling
go
in.
on.
Thank you for
man.
I fucking was sleeping like a baby, man.
No, it's all good. Glad you got some rest, man. No, I was happy. It was exciting. This is exciting. It's a good time. I'm definitely still getting used to it. Like I said, I've never been a YouTuber. I've never done a whole lot in front of the camera, so.
Well,
It's
the
new,
thing
but
is,
it's fun.
too, this isn't even straight up podcasting either, because that's recording audio file, doing offline
Yeah.
everything,
This
and
is-
probably would really be better quality.
We're
I mean,
careful.
this is just streaming and discussing things, and then we take that audio and upload it separately as well too, and we call that a podcast. To me, this is mostly just live streaming and having a discussion, but we market it like a podcast because to me it still is.
We're practically cam boys.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
No, but this is the kind of podcast that I listen to on my own. I listen to a ton of podcasts, so having the opportunity to go on some is definitely an exciting opportunity. But this is the kind of stuff that I like. It's much more enjoyable than something that's too rigid.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. We do our best.
What was your guys' favorite topic of today?
Let me bring up the doc again.
I will say
Maybe it's comedy. No,
Comedy was up there.
no, not.
I'm pretty excited for the Vita users for this this Enso mod.
Mhm.
I mean, like, I don't know. It depends on how, I guess, reliable HENkaku is currently. Maybe it's more reliable
It's
than the
extremely
3DS
reliable.
stuff. Right. I remember the 3DS stuff being a little bit more unreliable. It might take a couple boots to get going. And that freedom to be able to just turn it on and go, even if you have sleep mode, I don't know. That makes such a huge difference, and I think that's really promising.
Absolutely. I think probably my favorite topic was actually the first one we talked about with the whole modding and anti-piracy type thing. I didn't think we'd go so far into it and have the opinions that we did, but that was definitely a really fun one to talk about.
Dude, that can't be your favorite topic because that was my favorite topic.
Oh, what, you want to fight about it?
I didn't think you were gonna pick that one, dude. I thought that I had like a good wild
It
card.
surprised me too. I mean, I feel like we had interesting stuff to talk about, but that was probably my favorite one, just because of the discussion that we had around it.
Yeah, I feel like we went pretty heavily into it, and it's something that you don't really hear or see too often. So it was just interesting to see. And again, like the other stuff, for me at least, I don't have a Vita, so I mean, although that was cool, it was kind of like, yeah. And then the Xbox One stuff's still cool, but at the same time, it's like, it's not groundbreaking to me, Like, it's cool. It's neat. Yeah. It's
just
cool.
There's more people that know how to turn their retail system into a dev system.
Exactly. Yeah. If you tell me like, fucking, we just, like, drop kick the Xbox One into oblivion and we can do whatever we want, then I'm sitting here with like a foam finger, like, fuck yeah, But, I mean, it's cool though. It's still, it's something worth at least talking about. But again, it wasn't groundbreaking to me per se, like that changing the game, unless someone figures out a way to breach through this sandbox. But I don't know. I feel like they set it up as like a padded cell, essentially.
They did. They definitely did. That was the intention of that. Everything is sandboxed on the Xbox One.
Yeah. We were talking about that, I think, too, on one of the podcasts, that like even if you're in one and you were able to get something in that, it's not even connected to the next part of the console. Essentially, they're all like sandboxes inside of different cells, essentially, in a prison, I guess. The Xbox is a prison.
Just like how Sony learned with the Vita when it came to the homebrew community, like learned from the PSP when it came to the homebrew community. Microsoft definitely learned from the Xbox and Xbox 360 modding scenes.
Yeah, I definitely think they learned their lesson.
Yeah,
it'll be really interesting to see how this Switch pans out. I don't think there's been a whole lot of activity since their initial kind of proof of concept exploit.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's going to be a while, man. It's going to be a while before we see anything hardcore, because I mean the exploit's there, but like even they're messing around with it. Like a lot of people, they get super hyped. It's like, hey, it's an exploit. It's like, well, one, you don't know if it's going to be released, and two, it's the exploit's there, but we don't have anything else. Like an exploit does not automatically equal ISO game loader.
No, it's a starter. It's a starting point.
Exactly.
It's good. No, it's more than a starting point.
They found the break. Yeah. They found
Fucking, though, they cracked out of their prison cell. Now you still got to scale the walls and get past the guards and the hounds.
And swim through like the shit river and all that, and get out through the sewer system.
Make it through the county, get your cuffs off, and then we'll talk.
Well, as we've seen with other scenarios, they could very well have some serious exploits, but until something's like really ready to ship, I mean, I remember when the Homebrew launcher for the 3DS first came out, that was like Smeela made that like really polished, like, here's a Homebrew base, here you go, here's the exploit, have at it. It's like a professional looking kind of
Yeah, no,
launcher.
he kicked ass.
So I mean, I think they would definitely don't want to get it for it to be patched too soon before they can really address it and really come out with something awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, speaking of that, actually, one little thing. The Switch got the 2.3 update and stability increase. So just I know everyone was dying for that information, but the Switch now has increased stability if you're on the latest firmware.
I really wanted my kickstand to be more stable. This is exactly what I needed.
That's what I needed too.
No, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I don't think they were patching any open exploits, but
the people have been
bug fixes.
maybe not open ones, but I mean, people are submitting exploits to Nintendo right now through that HackerOne program.
That's right. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
Making some money.
Yeah, just a bit.
Food on the table, man.
Exactly.
Hey, if I was that capable, I'd have a hard time deciding between cold hard cash or community support. Like
street fame, dude.
Right. I mean, it can be good resume work, as it's shown with Smelum, even.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this is shit that interests people. Like, even just like one thing I'll just kind of throw out here as well too, because I was talking about the coworker thing and all. Like, the past 2 places I've worked at, I've put my YouTube channel on my resume, and my managers, people who've interviewed me, they saw my channel, they saw what I was doing, they were aware of what I was doing, and they thought this shit was fascinating, like all the modding stuff and just presenting the channel to a public audience and all that. They thought it was cool. So that's why even just little tip for you all, if you're looking for jobs or anything, just don't second guess what you might put on a resume. Like, if you do YouTube thing or you have some type of talent or whatever, it's all about how you spin it and how you word it on there. But you'll be surprised at what people will be impressed with.
Yeah, I put my YouTube on my last job that I got.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome.
Actually, they wanted to know about it. They were like, "Oh, so what?" They like pulled up my channel. And I was like, crap, like, thank God that lately my content has been relevant. I'm like, just don't go past like 10 pages to my old stuff where I'm just bitching about things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I think especially when you're doing something that can be a revenue stream, that shows a lot of initiative. And I think that's what jobs are often looking for more than knowledge or specific talent.
Absolutely. And again, that's how I said, like, that's why I said it's how you spin it. Like, for example, you don't put on your resume, I make videos. You put on there something like, I am a online content creator and I edit videos, I market them online, I have AdSense or whatever on there where I have a revenue stream, but with this, I'm cultivating my audience and my brand through social media and video sharing sites. You make it sound something like that, where you're describing exactly what you're doing, but you make it sound really professional and nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mario's Resume Help 101. Actually, I really like editing resumes.
That's a gift.
Didn't you ask me at one point if I wanted help with my resume?
Yeah, didn't I edit yours?
Yeah, you did it. You did, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you are the resume guy.
I am the resume guy, I guess.
Dude. All right, I'm going to be coming to you if I need some help then.
Yeah.
Dude, go ahead. You know how to contact me. So.
Yeah. All right, boys.
Anyways,
well, I'm going to get to that taco in a minute here.
Yeah, he's hungry. I'm tired. Devin, what negative emotion are you?
I'm tired. I got to get to bed. I'm an old man.
Okay. And I got to let the dog out. So the dog's just been watching you the entire time, maybe.
Have you heard the little subtle whines on occasion?
No, I haven't, actually. The mic has not picked them up.
Good. I wondered about that. I thought I was going crazy, and I took out my earbud for a minute.
Wait, you're over at Mr. Mario's apartment right now?
That's not my game collection. That's
I totally thought that it was your game collection. I was like, dude, this guy's got a sick ass game collection.
Totally.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No, I 100% until right in this moment when you just said that, I thought that. I mean, I know that's where you guys streamed last time, where you were sitting on that couch, right? I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I totally thought that, like, wow, like Mr. Mario met this dude that lives in his apartment complex that loves the shit out of video games as much as he probably does.
You know, I do. I mean, I love video games. I have such a history with them, and I think there are certain video games I would want, but Mario's the collector.
Yeah.
Appreciate the collection, but
Yeah. You visit the museum. You don't need to have the museum.
right,
Yeah,
yes.
I get it.
I hope I don't owe you $5 for this museum. It's free.
The visiting fee.
Oh no, dude, it's fine. I mean, you're babysitting the dog, but she kind of does that on her own too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she's asleep. I don't see eyeballs anymore.
Oh, good doggo. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you for listening, watching, wherever you guys are from. If you want to check us out, we have a ModChat Facebook page. We are going to have, of course, the podcast audio version of it on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, and the video version will be on my channel where, you can comment on there, tell us what you thought of it. We do really appreciate that constructive criticism, any recommendations, all that other fun stuff. And then on top of that as well, too, as I said, I'll probably put the link out on Twitter. I still haven't officially blasted it everywhere, which I will soon. I'm working on a video with it. But also on my Discord, I have a ModChat little text chat area where if you have recommendations for topics that you want us to cover, you can go ahead and throw them in there. Aside from my co-host and my guest here, where can we find you all on the internet?
Go for it, ModBot.
Oh, you want me to go? I was waiting for you to go. You can find me on YouTube, primarily on YouTube, I guess. ModBot. I do pretty much exclusively 3D printing stuff now. I started off doing Xbox modding years and years and years ago. But yeah, for the last at least couple years now, it's transitioned more to like 3D modeling and very much heavily into 3D printing. So you can still expect like a random curve thing here and there. I'm talking way too much, but yeah, find me on YouTube. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm not super active online. I'm a bit active on Twitter, so you can find me at Paranoid Coder. And then I talk about mostly development-oriented things, maybe some random Android or tech-oriented stuff. I'm starting to get more into some personal projects, so I'm going to be hoping to post about some more development-oriented things as time goes on. And I also recently joined a Mastodon instance, mastodon.technology. So if you're on that new hype train, you can follow me there.
What is that?
Paranoid Coder.
I've never heard of that.
It's really cool. So Mastodon is an open source, decentralized clone of Twitter based off of an older open source social network called GNU Social. And essentially, anyone can spin up an instance, anyone can host their own thing, and it's kind of like email. So we can communicate across instances, but you can be on your own Mastodon server, which allows for these servers, it's open source, so you can fork code. If one server makes a decision for a feature you don't like, you can switch if you want. And it's really the community driving this, and there's no advertisements, no tracking, and the main developer just has a Patreon page and just gets donations monthly.
Wow, I've never heard of this.
It's been out for a few years, but it recently got a decent amount of attention. And I chose this mastodon.technology instance because it's a lot of developers, it's a lot of tech-oriented people. So among these different instances, there can be other communities that develop, you know what I mean? But there are a couple top ones. Mastodon.social is by far the most popular. But it's really interesting. I'm trying to give it a shot. I'm all about the open source, decentralized nature, letting these people have the power and, taking the advertisement and data out of it.
Yeah, I'll have to take a further look into it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I need to do that as well, too. Devin just told me a lot about it, but I haven't actually tried it out myself.
I mean, I think it's the mindset you should go into it is looking for a new community, not looking for the same communities that you have elsewhere. Because you're not going to find the top people on there. And on top of that, it's going to be interesting to see how it gets adopted because it's not a confusing thing. You don't feel like a hacker using it. But this concept of being like, okay, well, to message you, if you're on a different instance, I have to say @modbot @mastodon.social.
It's a crossover.
Right. So it's more like email. But we can perfectly communicate so long as, I mean, technically an instance could totally fork and make their instance not compatible anymore. But that kind of is a disadvantage.
Huh.
But as email servers have evolved, you have a Yahoo, you have a Google, it's all email. So this is standardizing social networking as well, in a sense.
Neat.
I'm in it for the long run, man. 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
Just
No, dude, more power to you. That's awesome.
hey, I missed out on Bitcoin, okay, and I still regret it. So, got to get on this stuff early.
Yep. Yeah, but I've told you all about the pizza thing, right?
The 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, one of the most I think the first Bitcoin transaction was for a large pizza, and
first Bitcoin paid for either food or like a real world item.
Yeah, it was that. It was, I think it was 2 pizzas and a 2-liter bottle of soda for 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yep, a local pizza shop decided to accept it because the guy convinced him, or they had heard about it or something. And yeah, now that would be right now Bitcoin's floating out around 1,800. I just was trading some.
That. Yeah, before anybody freaks out, like 10,000. Why would you pay 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza and a soda? It's like, this is when Bitcoin was worth nothing. This is when there was a guy on a forum who had 10,000 of this imaginary play money, and somebody decided to just flatter him and be like, you know what? Here, I'll take 10,000 of your imaginary computer money, and I'll buy you a pizza.
It's worth $18 million right now, too.
Yeah, that's one of the most expensive Bitcoin transactions.
Insane. So Bitcoin's fun. We'll have to talk about that on another podcast. I was pretty Bitcoin.
Yep. Yeah. Anyways, again, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you for listening, watching, everyone, and we're gonna be out of here.
Have a good night, everybody.
Peace out.